All right, here he is, the man we all call Hoodie, Rodney Hood. We've been trying to do this for a while, but of course it made sense to just kind of wait a little while to see what was going to happen with this restart, but we finally got you. So happy to have you here. I'm going to ask you the question I think most people ask you every time they see you these days, and not in a casual way, but how are you, Hoodie? How are you mentally, physically, emotionally, all the above?
I'm doing good. It's been a long process, but I'm starting to get on the court now. I post a couple videos for people to see how I'm doing, and I'm in good spirits. I'm gonna be cheering the guys on. I'm still in Portland, but I'm doing good. Every single day I'm getting better, feeling more back like myself every single day. So I'm just gonna keep going and see where that leads me.
That's funny you should bring up the videos because I was going to ask right away. It was seemingly simple, right? Just a light jump, a dunk, is just by yourself, but it meant something. It was meaningful because it kind of represented like Hoodie's coming back, and then everyone in the practice facility, goes nuts. They're clapping for you. What did that moment mean to you? And then all the comments that you received after.
It meant a lot to have a support system from the fans and from the guys that been seeing me put in the work every single day. I come in earlier than everybody, and I leave when they just about to get started, and they see the grind that I'm on every single day. So it felt good. And for me, just knowing the journey that I've been on, every single small step is huge to me. I couldn't walk, for like 4 months ago. I couldn't jump probably a month and a half ago, and to be able to dunk and just to be able to jump in general, to be able to dunk, that's a milestone for me. That's something I took for granted before I got hurt. But every little step is great. And some people say, well, I'm already tall, but I don't care. That it meant a lot to me.
That's not fair. We're all very proud of you for that dunk. So is that kind of how you look at your return, Rodney? Is kind of every little step is one to celebrate?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I got a bunch of videos that I want to put out to the fans and to the public of every little milestone, whether it was putting getting my cast off, to move into a boot, to my first workout when I was in a boot, to walking normal, and it's a grueling process, and I just want people to see it and know that they can make it through anything, because this is one of the most trying times I ever had, and I just want to show people that they can get through anything as well.
You just mentioned one of the most trying times. What was it like for you? Just right after the injury, I'll say, and then as you start to, get feeling better, you're still on the sidelines. You're still not able to play with your teammates. How difficult was that for you to not be out there with them?
It was extremely difficult. It's still difficult to this day. I wish I was down in Orlando with the guys. But right after the injury, it really didn't hit me until I was trying to walk. And after probably a couple months, I realized this was going to be a long haul. And I was in it for multiple months, because I always bounce back from injuries right away. But this is not something that, I could just snap my fingers and be well. It's going to take a time. And even when I get back healthy, it's still going to take time to get back to my normal self. So, I've had a great support system, from my family to fans sending me encouraging messages. My teammates every single day when they see me, and they texting me, checking up on me, coaching staff as well. So, I'm in good spirits. The first couple of months was very, very rough mentally for me, but after I got through that, started to move around, I felt good.
Well, I will get to your family, your support system, who I want to talk about. But I did have a question about your recovery. You were kind of going through the same sort of thing, not exactly the same, but you, Nurk, Zach, all at the same time. Did you guys kind of, talk a lot about that? How difficult it was? Were you guys able to discuss, your issues, and was that helpful for you?
It was very helpful to have Zach and Nurk. I know this is Zach's pretty much first time going through it as well, but to see how Nurk came back, for him, basically breaking his leg to, I remember hovering over him when he actually got hurt in the Brooklyn game last year when I first got to the team, and to see him work, for him to grow his hair out, to him rehab and to get his body in shape and to get the love of the game back, to see his attitude change, him coming to game, being involved in the games. That's something I wanted to do, and it's just me and his conversations been more about the mental side of everything rather than the physical. And the same thing with Zach. Zach's been working extremely hard. He was a big, huge piece of our team before he went down, and we felt his presence. And I know he's gonna have a a hell of a return, once he's back.
You mentioned Nurk's many hairstyles during this quarantine. The last, how many months are we at this point? But we've seen around the NBA, actually really everywhere, of people just kind of, guys letting their hair grow out, the facial hair, all of it. Everyone came back went down to Orlando kind of looking a little bit different. CJ's got, the braids, and everyone just kind of did their own thing. Who do you think pulled off quarantine hair and facial hair the best? And the worst for that matter.
That's tough. That's extremely tough. I mean, I'll probably say CJ, on our team. Everybody else is pretty much the same, if I remember. But, CJ coming back he started with the twist, and now he got the full braids, and he's styling it up. It looks like he's going to keep it too. So, I think he won the quarantine of the team, like this award.
I'll let him know you said so.
All right.
You mentioned that, you would be in Orlando if you could. You wish you were with your guys. Just already difficult that you weren't able to play this season. How do you feel, knowing they're all down there going through this experience? I know you'd like to be there. Have you been talking to them a lot since they got down there? Have there been discussions about what it's like?
A little bit. We're in a group message where, they talk about how it's down there, whether it's from the food, the living, the outside scenery. And, I'm keeping up with it just like the regular fan is, from what's going on, the shenanigans down there. So I think everybody's just interested in, like I said, I wish I was down there just to beat them and cheer them on. But I know I have my duty, just to get healthy so I could be with them for real when it comes down to it next season.
And I told you I was going to bring this back up, but as you continue your recovery, just how important and impactful have your family members been during this time, specifically your wife and your kids?
Man, every one of my family and friends been hitting me up periodically, just checking on me, really about the mental side. They know I'm gonna work hard and get back the physical side, but the mental piece is the biggest piece when you're rehabbing an injury like mine. And my wife and my kids, being with my kids, I never took it for granted, but you just never know what you miss while playing basketball, because you're always on the road, you always traveling, your mind is always on basketball during the season, but being able to sit with them through this quarantine and watch them every little step grow every single day has been tremendous. My wife has pushed me to go back to school during this time, doing online classes. So she's been with me every single day. We take long rides to Motor Center just to sit outside the arena and just talk about, just talk about my mental side. That's the biggest thing. Everybody been stretching, just me to say mentally into it and not to give up.
Wow, I don't know if many people knew that you were going back to school. What specific classes are you taking?
Well, I'm trying to finish my undergraduate. I majored in sociology, so I just want to finish that up. Hopefully, I finish in the next summer or two. So I can have that under my belt. This is the first time Duke offered online classes. So, that was if anything is good out of coronavirus, that was the best thing for them to offer online classes.
And I have to ask, when you have these, reflective drives to Motor Center, you and your wife, or, you're working on your mental health, are your kids in the back seat, or is this just you and your wife?
It's just me and her. It's just me and her. A lot of the tough times that I've been through, throughout my career, since me and her met at Duke, it's always been me and her. We take long rides. That's always been our thing. And we just discuss, we get a lot of stuff out your head, it's just a lot of you sitting around, a lot of bad thoughts go through your mind, or whether you can do it again, but she's just always been that reminder for me, just to know that I was once a really good player and I'm going to be even better when I get back. Just continue to drain it into my head.
And for those who don't know, I mean, I see her all the time in your kids. If they don't know the backstory, your wife, a baller in her own right. For people that don't know, tell everyone just how successful she was, and just what an amazing woman she is.
Yeah, she was a great player. She was a great player. She was a McDonald's All-American in high school. We met at Duke. She was having a great career at Duke. Unfortunately, got hurt towards the end of her career, and played 1 year professionally in Brazil, but didn't like it that much. So we came back, decided to start to have a family, and but she still has that in her. Every time we go to the gym, she still reminds me that she was a McDonald's All-American. So that's one thing that she has that I don't. So she always tells me that every day.
Gotta stay humble, right? Gotta keep you humble.
Right,
Well,
right,
I have
right.
to ask then, when you start maybe get into one-on-one type shape, will she be someone you'll go to outside, you know, saying, hey, I'm ready to go, let's go play one-on-one?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we always goof around. You know, she takes it very seriously because she's very competitive. But you know, we'll get out there, play 1-on-1, and I can't wait till the kids get older in their teenage years so we can have family games and stuff like that. So it's been pretty fun to have her as I guess my partner in going through this.
And I remember the video, I'll never forget, I've watched it a couple of times, your surprise birthday party that she, you know, led. And then it was
Mhm.
so well done, this beautifully produced video that, you know, when showed you and her walking in, you looked clearly surprised. And then
Mhm.
every teammate, I'm pretty sure I saw every one of your teammates, every one of your coaches, every one of the training staff there. I mean, you looked so moved during that video. People, I'll put up the link or whatever so people can look at it if they haven't already seen it. But what was that moment like where you could really tell like you had so much support and love from not only your wife, which you knew, but the team as a whole?
Oh man, that's probably the most memorable birthday I ever have. You know, just from just walking in, I was so overwhelmed. I almost cried. I was just about there. Well, I didn't cry, but just to see, you know, that's rare in the NBA when all your teammates and coaches, you know, show up. You know, some guys make up excuse, maybe they're tired. That was a night before a game, I think, and everybody showed up, showed their support, and they stayed long. And they were genuine. That's a credit to my wife. She put it all together. I had no idea, and to have all my family fly out, you know, that was an amazing time for me to be able to show their appreciation for me and me to pay it back forward. So that's one for the books for me.
And that was fancy. That, I mean, I've never seen a birthday party like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she gets a lot of requests now from people to help throw parties for their husband or whoever, you know, so she's taking that serious now.
You just talked about how much of a family man you are and all this extra time you've had to spend with your kids. Is there anything you've learned about yourself as a father during this time?
Ah, I just learned patience. I learned to focus more on my children. I guess that makes sense. Not just play with them when I'm energetic, but to give them my time and full energy. To you know, I grow with them. You know, I'm growing as a father. I only been a father for 4 years, and I know when they turn 20, I'll be a better father then. It's just growing with them and understanding that they need. You know, I find myself acting like my dad and taking some of the things he instilled in me, you know, and putting it into my children, whether it's, you know, not necessarily the discipline part, but just being that structure for them to make them feel protected and make them feel loved.
Oh, I love that so much. We talked about how your teammates were at that birthday party. You felt so much love and support. You know, I had a few questions on Twitter from people. They wanted to know, like, how would you describe the brotherhood in the locker room with the Blazers?
It's nothing like it. You know, I played on in two other cities, and I had really good friends. But this really feels like a family here. You know, everybody want to see each other do well. You know, it's very rare. I wouldn't say it's like a college atmosphere, but it has that type of feel where everybody generally wants to see everybody happy, and we check on each other. You know, we there for one another. You know, nobody feels like they're bigger. Like even Dame and CJ, you know, guys that are all-star, you know, Dame's an all-star, CJ's an all-star. Some of the best players in the league, they don't put themselves above the team. You know, they work just as hard or harder than everybody else. They hold themselves accountable. You know, the coach, Coach Stotts, you know, allows everybody to have a voice and to everybody to feel like they're important to the team. So this is very rare, and that's why I've been feeling so comfortable here.
But you know what? No one's above getting poked at, and everyone I feel like everyone gives it and they receive it as well in terms of, you know, not making fun, but just having fun with each other. So have you
Right.
seen? I have to ask, have you seen the Gary Trent Jr. pictures that he took in the bathroom?
The bathroom pics. Oh man. Yeah, the crazy thing is I've seen him do that before, but I don't think it went viral. But you know, Gary Trent, man, is a great dude. You know, he's always, you know, he looks tough on the outside, but he's a big kid on the inside. I mean, he's still young, but that was extremely funny to see that.
It's gone so viral that people are recreating their own in their own
Yeah, I
bathroom.
saw that.
Oh, I could look at those all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that does speak to the brotherhood that, everyone, holds each other accountable, but you guys have fun together. And I think also something that speaks to that is how easily it was for Carmelo Anthony, I mean, an international superstar, to come into this team. And obviously he's so well respected, but he came in, he said he just wanted to go to work, be a part of the team. And it was seamless. At least it felt that way to us watching. And for me, who's obviously close to the team, how much of the way he's come in and held himself, how much has it impressed you?
It's impressed me a lot, because this is my first. I knew Melo. I played against him, when I was in Utah. But to get a chance to know him personally, see his work ethic every single day, he doesn't let a lot bother him, And obviously, he was one of the most talked about athletes, out there. But he came into an environment where nobody judged him off of what they heard on TV. Everybody came here and they knew he was a good dude. Everybody knows about him as a player, and you can tell how they rubbed off on him, where he didn't have to look over his shoulder and see if somebody that he was playing with or playing for was talking about him or saying different things. Everybody wanted to see him do well and see him get back in the NBA, because we were very vocal before he even became a trailblazer that we felt he should be in the NBA, and now he's proved that and more since he's been in the league.
And so he was actually on one of the Zoom calls that we have every day. When you guys first started practicing down there, there's Zoom calls for media availability. Yesterday, Damon, CJ, and Coach. Today was Melo and Nurk. And, we were all kind of talking about, this is the first time Melo will have played with Nurk and Zach. And I asked Coach about it, and he said, well, Melo is a consummate veteran. He's professional. He can, seamlessly play with anyone. How do you think all these guys that haven't played together yet, back in this kind of interesting setting in this bubble, how do you feel like this team will fare?
I think it'd be great. I've been watching the guys probably the last 3 weeks. Everybody seems to be in good shape. If they get the chemistry right, I think it would be really, really scary, because we got a lot of veteran guys that can score the ball, guys that want to win, want to defend, and getting Zach and Nurk, two really good defensive guys is going to help. Along with Hassan, will definitely help the front court as far as defensive wise and take a lot of pressure off the guards. And I think when it gets down to it, we can sneak in the playoffs. I think it'd be really interesting to see what happens, because I think we got a lot of talent and a lot of good guys that want to win. So I look forward to
that. Speaking of this setting, no fans. Just as a player, how do you think that can affect a team, or just the way that you guys play off of the fans so much, especially Rip City fans, which I'll get to in a second. But without fans there, what does this team need to do to make sure their energy levels are up, that they stay as competitive as I believe they will? But just how different of a feeling do you think that will be?
It'll be a very different feeling. Maybe even weird, some would say. Not to have fans, because you're so used to having that adrenaline and the anxiety that you get from fans and their support system. So it's going to be very different. But, that's why, I think we'll do well, because we lean on each other a lot. And, guys will give each other energy and the strength to go forward, and stay engaged while we're down there. That's going to be the tough part, is being down there a month and a half without fans, without real, a real support system, how a guy's going to fare. And I think we'll do fine in that category.
That's good to hear. And speaking of the fans, Rip City, I have seen them embrace new players before, but I don't know. There's something about you, Hoodie, that it was quick, it was passionate. People just fell in love with you, and then when you came back, they were so thrilled. So I just want to know how you felt about the way you were received from Rip City fans, and have you seen anything like it around the league?
Oh, no, I haven't seen it anywhere around the league since the first day I got here. I remember last February, I'm sorry. And, I saw signs at my first game against the Spurs, and they embraced me on social media. They embraced me around Portland, everywhere I go, and they embrace everybody, man. It's great to play for fans like that, because they genuinely want to see the team do well. They want to see players do well, and they try to get to know you, and that's rare, around the league, and it's a family atmosphere, honestly. When I go to games, I get chills. Even when I wasn't playing, I just love going in the arena and seeing the support system. So it's been a big reason why I keep it going in my rehab as well, because I can't wait to get back in front of them.
Well, some of those fans, like I said, reached out to me on Twitter with some questions. Some are basketball, some are kind of out in left field, which I enjoy those as well. So I'm just going to kind of pepper you with these, and you let me know. Proudest moment as a player, and it didn't specify, so I don't think it has to be with the Blazers, but proudest moment as a basketball player.
It said proudest moments.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. Well, I got a few of them. Going back to high school, winning the state championship was big. Me getting drafted. Or I'll just say me getting drafted. I can go on all day of moments that I'm proud of. But I say me getting drafted and realizing my lifelong dream, the blood, sweat, and tears that paid off, I'll say getting drafted was my proudest moment.
What's that feeling like? I can only imagine just sitting there, and then, the emotions running through you.
It's too many emotions, the work leading up to the draft, getting better, trying to become a pro, but you just think about all the sleepless nights, the early mornings, the anxiety, depression, whatever, all the negative emotions.
All the things.
All the things. And me being from where I'm from, Meridian, Mississippi, not many people make it out from there. And to be one of the people that did to create, motivation for a lot of kids back home, it all poured on me. And I cried that night because it was a lifelong dream to realize.
Do you get back home very often?
Yeah, I do when I can. I wanted to go back, for an extended period of time, but obviously the coronavirus hit. But, I just, I try to get back, especially around August to do a camp and to see my family and friends and just to be around love. You always got to go home and tap in with home.
You must be pretty popular around those parts.
Yeah, I am. My dad is probably more popular, back there in Mississippi. He runs the Boys and Girls Clubs, back there. And, he's a known man down there. So I got everything I got, from him. And, he's the big hood, I guess you would say back home.
Did he run them when you were a kid as well?
Yeah, for over 30 years, he's been doing the Boys and Girls Club. Everybody respects him down there. They just had a special on him on CBS where Oprah, Oprah has a club down in Mississippi where that he helps run. And, it's just great to follow in his footsteps. He always was my dad, but he was also the dad of 400 other kids as well, that needed his guidance. So, it was great.
My dad always said, still says, that the Boys and Girls Club raised him.
Yeah.
Every day after school. So I have to ask him, if it wasn't for your dad and the Boys and Girls Club, do you think you'd be where you are today?
Oh, no. I don't know what I'd be doing. I just know, the community raises a child. You have your parental structure at home, but the child is, in a community, whether at school or after school programs for 10 to 12 hours, when they're not in the eyes of the parents. And that's what raised me, the people at the Boys and Girls Club, lifelong friendships. My best friends, are from the Boys and Girls Club. My first girlfriend was at the Boys and Girls Club. I learned how to play basketball. I learned how to be a good friend, a good classmate. I got extra work on my homework. Tutoring, from the Boys and Girls Club, after school meals. Everything that I know and I love and I cherish to this day, I got from there. So I always pay that back forward.
I love hearing that. Okay, another question. Your favorite part of the 4 overtime game?
Ooh.
Was it the first, second, third, or fourth overtime?
I don't know. I can't. Oh, that was it was just, I just love the fight that we had. It was just amazing being a part of it. That's a legendary game. And I think my favorite part would probably be, I remember me, Gary Trent, and Anthony Simons were at the end of the bench. And, I didn't play pretty much in the overtimes. And I was like, I saw everybody was tired. So I was like, man, if I got a chance to get in, I would end it. And then I think Mo Harkless wound up getting a cramp. And he went out the game. And everybody keeps reminding me of me galloping in the game. Or running in the game, but I was so excited because I knew the game needed fresh legs and I wanted to help so bad. And I had a matchup, and when the first shot went in, I knew Coach Stats was gonna keep going to me, and I hit the second shot, and then CJ made an amazing pass, an underrated pass to me, after he missed a mid-range shot And I was fortunate enough to knock that last shot down, which I think is why a lot of fans still love me today. So
thank you. That shot, that one shot. No, much more than just that, but I do think that played a role, a big role.
Yeah.
Speaking of those fans, they'd like to know your favorite place in Portland.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough as well. It's so many. I know one of my favorite spots, two favorite spots to eat at right now is El Gacho's and Matador. You know, those two restaurants that I like to eat at. I like going downtown, downtown area, going to the barbershop, the influential shop, just to chop it up with people and get a feel for people in Portland. But I just like going anywhere around Portland. I drive around. I just like to talk to people and get to know them a little bit. So it's been good.
Have you ever had a chance to get over to the coast, the Oregon coast?
Nah, everybody is pressing me to go. Everybody wants me to go to experience that. I saw CJ out there probably like a month ago. And, I'm definitely going to get out there before the season starts back up.
Okay, now when I told you there were a couple out there questions, we've reached that point. Okay.
All right.
I think I know the answer to this one, but how many times have you been stuck in an elevator?
Oh, man. That's a good question. I would say probably 3.
Oh, wow, that's 2 more than I thought.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that one though. Like the couple other times I was by myself or maybe 2 other people in there, but I never been there with 5-7 footers and other NBA players. That was the scariest time for me, honestly.
That was the story that for us in the media just kept giving and giving and giving. So we showed there were just so many different angles. You had Evan Turner's angle, which was hilarious. Then you had people talking about Dame. He got the 2 granola bars and he just took a huge bite out of one, and everyone you're supposed to share it. And then just everything. My favorite, I don't know if you remember this, my favorite line was from ET when he said, "This is not the way you treat the former first team in the Western Conference." Former first team. Anyways, yeah. So here's my question. Would you rather be in a group setting with that many people where you at least have people to talk to for that long, or be by yourself for that long? Stuck.
I'd rather be by myself. Because ET was in there playing around, joking, but I was serious. I wasn't. It wasn't a fun experience for me. But then, I know how to keep myself calm and to think for myself. But then you got Scal was panicking beside me. Mm-hmm. I forgot who else was in there. Dane was eating up all the, like, if I had 2 granola bars, I know how to, sample it. But he was eating everything. And I don't know. Those guys were selfish in there that day. So I'm glad we made it out, though.
Yeah, there were a lot of people in that elevator, that's for sure. Okay, so here's another kind of fun, weird one. Do you believe in ghosts?
I definitely believe in spirits. I think we all spirits. I don't know about ghosts in the sense of Halloween. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that one.
Okay.
But I guess you could say that. I can believe in ghosts, yeah.
Okay, that's yes. Okay, and this is the last one, and this one I've asked everybody, and I joke because Zach Collins had a really hard time with this one, and finally fell on an answer, but most people know it right away, but it's very important. Do you think a hot dog is a sandwich, yes or no?
No, I don't think it's a sandwich.
Okay, I think that you are of the majority. I would agree with you too. This has been very fun. Thank you for taking the time, and it's been fun catching up with you, seeing how you're doing, talking about your family. But I really like talking about basketball with you too, because I know the fans miss you desperately on the floor. So keep, getting better at your pace, and I know they can't wait to see you.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Tell the family hi. Thanks, Sooty.
All right, will do.
Bye.
All right.